Alrighty, Thursday, which means it's leg day. Deload week though, so nice and easy, low volume. Tell you exactly what I've got actually. So today, this is what's on the menu. I've got calf press, so I've just got 2 sets of everything basically because it's a pullback in volume. Calf press, 2 sets of that, then seated hamstring curls. I'm actually trying out a new exercise order today because this is probably how I'm going to change my leg days moving into the next training block or training phase. So as you'd be aware if you've been watching the last few leg days, I've been doing my adductor work before my squats, kind of as a way of pre-exhausting my adductors and everything like that, because I do my hamstring curls, adductors, and then leg extensions, and then I move into my main compound for the session, which there's nothing wrong with doing that. But I have noticed that I think because I train my adductors really hard when I do them, it's leading to a little bit of knee pain when I do my pendulum squats or my hack squats. So I'm still going to keep the seated hamstring curls before the pendulum squats or whatever squatting movement I'm doing for the session, but I'm going to move the adductor work to after the pendulum squats. So that way I don't run the risk of basically fatiguing myself to the point that I get sore knees. So it'll be calf press, hamstring curls, pendulum squat, and then leg extensions and adductor work, or adductor work and then leg extensions, I mean. So that's the plan of attack moving into this session. Pretty straightforward. But yeah, aside from that, nothing to really kind of mention. Just got to mix up my EAAs. I'm going to go the Concord grape today. So been alternating between the Concord grape and the blueberry. I can't remember the full name for the blueberry version. Oh no, it's not blueberry, it's blue raspberry. But yeah, there's like a fancy name for it. Like they've called this Concord grape instead of just grape. They got some weird name for the blue raspberry flavour, but they're both nice in my opinion. But I don't like to have the same one repeatedly. I like to alternate between the two. And because I had blue raspberry yesterday, I'll go grape today. Honestly, there's nothing to these EAAs. I don't have them for any specific reason other than when you're drinking more than 6 litres of water per day, it's hard to drink just water. You get a bit tired of it. My max tolerance, I find I can drink about 4-5 litres of water per day straight, but then the rest, the other few litres, have to be flavoured because I can't do it otherwise. So this is my way of making it a little bit more enjoyable. The only downside is it's not cheap, but if it helps me get my water in, I see it as a necessary evil. So, seeing as it's deload week, I'm not aiming for any PBs. I'm just going to basically go in there, same weight as I used last week, just aim for a few less repetitions per set and call it at that essentially. So the session itself shouldn't take too long. I'd say it's probably going to be about 40 minutes in total if I smash through it. So that's what I plan on doing. I've already finished work for the day. I did check-ins earlier today, so that's all out of the way. I've gotten my steps in for the day too. I've switched obviously to doing all of my steps and my morning cardio first thing in the day, so that way it's just one less thing I have on my list of things to do. So pretty much all I have to do now is get this session done, home, shower, eat, and then dive into some content creation, social media work, and respond to a few emails that have come through later in the day. But yeah. Okay, so good chat out there before I started training. I was chatting to a friend of mine who works here at the gym as a PT. He just had a few questions, so starting this session a little bit later than I usually would. It's been about 20 minutes since I got to the gym, so yeah. First set down, 1 to go. I have to say, out of all of the sessions that I do, obviously across the week, when I'm in a deload week, the one that I enjoy or look forward to the most is the leg day, because I mean, I definitely find that the most taxing one, and if I'm to be honest, I think that's the day that accumulates the most amount of systemic fatigue, just because they're such large muscles, like such large muscle groups. You're recruiting more total motor units, more total muscle fibers, and as a result they just contribute a lot more to the overall like accumulation of systemic fatigue across the week of training. So I find I feel a lot fresher after any deload session in general, but especially after leg day. In a normal week of training, when I train legs, I'm absolutely spent afterwards, and you probably relate. Like after like an arm day, I can go home, my brain still functions quite well. But after a leg day, I literally feel borderline retarded, just because of the level of exertion that you kind of take yourself to, if you're training hard and if you're training right, that is, and not like a pussy. But yeah, deload weeks are easy. So 1 more of these, and then on to hamstring curls. So, already touched on this in a session earlier this week, but in deload weeks, I really like to focus on just getting a good mind-muscle connection, controlling the movement through a full range of motion, and really just maximizing that as much as possible. So that's what I'll be doing in this leg session. So the seated hamstring curls, I've got 2 sets. I'm just going to really focus on, staying at least 3 reps in reserve, 3 reps from failure, and just getting a good deep stretch at the top of each rep. First set was 11 reps. I probably should have stopped at 10 to truly be like 3 or 4 reps from failure, but 1 extra rep isn't going to hurt, especially with the reduction in volume that I'm doing, and especially considering I'm only training legs once a week at the minute. In the new block, I'll probably be hitting it twice a week if I get the all clear this week that surgery isn't required for my ingrown hair, that like a second surgery that isn't required. If that's the case, I'll probably be in the clear to do legs twice a week again, which I'm looking forward to. Okay, so even though I used the pendulum last week, I really do miss the Cybex hack squat. No one makes a better hack squat than Cybex. Hands down, I don't care what you say. I disagree with you if you say that there is a better brand of hack squat out there. The only reason people don't like this hack squat, it isn't because it's bad on the knees, it's because it's hard. It's heavier than most other brands, and therefore you can't load it up as much, so it doesn't stoke the ego anywhere near as much, but it's a fantastic movement. It definitely loads up that stretch position a lot more, in my opinion. And that's where you really want to load up the quads, to be honest, if you want to maximize growth, is in that stretched position, that bottom position of the hack squat. So yeah, I think it's definitely superior to a lot of other brands when it comes to the yield or the return on investment you get for the time spent doing it. I mean, sure, the Arsenal strength one feels amazing, but you have to load it up ridiculously heavy to get any appreciable amount of tension, mechanical tension. Like if I want to do a set of 10 to 15, I have to put at least 5 plates aside on the Arsenal, whereas this I can get away with 2, and that's plenty. So yeah, I mean, you want to be efficient with your exercise selection, not only when it comes to training. You don't just want to, like, I suppose, consider what movements feel good, but also what movements require less time to set up. And I mean, if you have to load less plates on this, then it's going to be more time efficient. One set boxed off, one to go. That's something that kind of gets a lot of people, I think. At least what I've found is most people don't know how to gauge how hard to go in a deload week. And I mean, if you track your training, there shouldn't really be much guessing involved. You should be able to look at and reflect on last week's training and see what you hit in the last week of accumulation, and then adjust based on that. So for example, say last week, the week before my deload, I hit 2 plates aside for 15 reps on a hack squat. Then I would know, if I was taking that last week to say 1 rep shy of failure, that failure probably would have been 16 reps. Therefore, if I go 12 reps, that's leaving about 4 reps in reserve, which is ideal deload territory in terms of effort, I think, or proximity from failure. So one could then come to the conclusion, okay, well, I'm doing my deload week. I'm just going to aim for 12 reps. Oh yeah, go for it, mate, yeah. I just got to aim for 12 reps, and that'll achieve the amount of, I suppose, effort required for that deload week without kind of shooting my load, and also not under shooting things. It's funny I said shoot my load. Oh, bit of a joke, I guess. But yeah, that's basically the approach I'm using in this week's training. I'm just scaling back a few reps from what I hit last week in my working sets. And that's all you have to do. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. As long as you're not training like a bitch prior to your deload week, it's going to be a reliable guesstimation at the least. Now, because it is a deload week, I'm not going to be doing the intensify technique I started playing around with last week, the like lift to the hips sort of deal. Just going to do 2 normal, straightforward sets of leg extensions and call it a day for these. Same load as usual though. 64 kilo. Just gotta get the seat setting right. There we go. Second and final set of these. Got 14 on that first set, which is only 1 rep shy of what I got last week, but the only reason I continued it beyond the like 12 rep mark, which would have been 3 or 4 reps back from what I hit last week, is because it just felt very submaximal. So I think due to the slight change in exercise order this week, it's thrown off a little bit the numbers or the reps I should be aiming for at the same load for each exercise. If I had done this in a different order, it might have been a little bit different. So I'm just putting it down to a slight change in exercise order or orientation, and also just getting a good night's sleep. I got a really good night's sleep last night, so I think that's just positively influenced recovery. And I'm also a couple days into the deload, so I've got a lot of that systemic fatigue already starting to rinse off. So it's probably given me the perception that I'm fresher than I actually am, which is why I'm able to push a little bit further this week. So this set, I'll definitely call it at 13, 14 reps, even if it feels like we go further, because I know at the end of the day, it's going to benefit my recovery if I do that. Again, just going to aim for 3 to 4 less reps than I got last week at this same weight, so about 11 to 12 reps with a full stack, and just punch out 2 of those, and then that'll be it for these. This is something I'm especially feeling fatigued in, so I want to go very submaximal on this. I don't want to go too close to failure at all because that'll just jeopardize my potential to recover. Onto the GHR for the glute extensions to finish off. Not quite 35 pound, but it'll do. It's a deload week. 2 pound reduction won't hurt. One set left, then home time. Thank God that's over. All done. Time for shower and fuck, my throat's so tight. Seriously, I can't be the only one who has their throat tighten up whenever they're hanging upside down doing an exercise. Comment below if you get that, guys. Like if you find it, say when you're either bench pressing and you're kind of like really clenching and shortening your neck, or when you're doing glute extensions on a GHR, tell me in the comments if your throat tightens up as well, because I'm starting to feel like I'm the only one that it happens to. All done now. Time to shower and head home. Well, head home and shower.